including the judiciary, must therefore be professional, independent, impartial, effective, and inspired by national values and principles of governance.
This is why President William Ruto has earned the title of the undefeated trickster on the global political stage. His mastery of political chess has left many players bruised, with some demanding he be shown a red card for his rough tactics.
So when they bring all those things in Kimeru, is what we say, mambura ya kuyanyenje. Mambura ya kuyanyenje is not straightforward as it was. So I'm so much concerned that there are those other players who have come in the scene.
If you still doubt Ruto's ability to play dirty, just ask the Imenti Central MP, who recently found himself caught in the web of the president's hard tackles. Remember the infamous impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua? All eyes were on President Ruto, waiting to see if he would stand by his deputy or silently orchestrate his downfall. While he publicly maintained a cool and detached demeanor, it was later revealed that Ruto was in fact pulling the strings from behind the scenes, ensuring Gachagua's impeachment proceeded smoothly.
Just called. How many of us here since morning have been called by the president? How many of us here since morning have been called by the deputy president, pleading with us to either support or oppose?
You have seen people being called and being offered money to impeach the deputy president, to remove him from office, and all that nonsense that is going on.
Ruto allegedly caught several members of parliament, persuading them with promises and clever manipulation. He particularly targeted Meru MPs, offering them a tempting proposition. If they voted to impeach Gachagua, their own Kithure Kindiki, a Meru native, would rise to the position of the deputy president.
We believed as Meru MPs that number 2 is supposed to take that place of number 1. So we signed on strength that Kindiki is going to be appointed as NDP. But from the time we passed that impeachment, things are not as they were. There is a lot of lobbying from various sectors of societies.
But it didn't stop there. Ruto also extended his promises to MPs from the Nyanza region, playing a similar card. The bait was too good to resist, and soon the MPs were convinced that their native sons and daughters would soon ascend to one of the highest offices in the land. Little did they know, they were mere pawns in Ruto's grand game.
A number of tribes, communities are lobbying to have their own, to be number 2. I'm concerned because you see now, we are hearing of somebody like Irongo Kangata. They're even calling us, they're robbing us to support them. There is also a majority leader, Kimani Ichung'wah. There is Anne Waiguru, the women caucus of governors. They are up in arms, saying that according to the speech of William Ruto, president, he promised them that the next deputy president will be a woman. They're also mentioning Grandes Wanga, and also sometimes they even bring the name of Raila Odinga in the scene. So when they bring all those things in Kimeru, that's what we say, mambura ya kuyanyenje. Mambura ya kuyanyenje is not straightforward as it was. So I'm so much concerned.
Behind closed doors, Ruto had already chosen someone else to replace Gachagua, a candidate he kept hidden in his sleeve until the time was right. Now, the Imenti Central MP and his colleagues are left lamenting how Ruto tricked them into voting for Gachagua's impeachment under false pretenses. They feel betrayed, their dreams of a Meru deputy president dashed, and their trust in Ruto shattered.
That there are those other players who have come in the scene. See? So it shouldn't be as that rumors and as it was at that time, because he was number 2. Let's number 2 take from number 1, because number 1 has been impeached as the deputy president. More than that, when Kindiki is down here, like Central Imenti, all the rivers which we have froze to his place, Tharaka, where he comes from. He knows the problem we have about electricity, about drones and so on. It's not somebody whom I'm going to call and explain. It's somebody who won't be even knowing by the time I tell him that there's a problem here, he already know. So to me, it will be a great advantage. I want to insist on that one shouldn't be repeated. There is no time when William Ruto called us and told us to impeach Gachagua. It is a change sheet it was the changes which were in parliament. But I have seen it that you people, you are trying to coin it and make it that it's William Ruto who told us. He did not. He did not tell us. We have our own brains. We have our own consciousness. And by the time I was saying that Gachagua will not be impeached, I wanted to be remembered. I had no idea, and I didn't have that rumor that it's Kindiki who is supposed to be the deputy president. If it's not Kindiki, I could not have voted out Gachagua.
But the question remains, how close is Gachagua to being ousted from office? Earlier today, Gachagua took his fight to court, seeking to block the Senate from proceeding with his impeachment. However, Senator Speaker Amason Kingi delivered a swift blow, ruling that parliamentary proceedings cannot be halted by court orders, effectively clearing the way for the impeachment process to continue.
On the 23rd of October 2019, when he ruled, and I quote, "I respectively but firmly determine that beyond peradventure, courts of law cannot and shall not stop or attempt to prevent Parliament from undertaking its constitutional mandate. Neither can the judiciary compel an action to be undertaken by Parliament. I rule, any injunction interfering with the work of Parliament has no effect on Parliament in exercise of its constitutional functions. Such court orders have no effect on the National Assembly or the Senate or any of their committees, respectively. In the unlikely event of any such orders, Parliament and its committees shall proceed unabated, unfettered and unhindered, as may be directed by the respective Speaker of Parliament." Now, the question of the effect, if any, of the court orders injuncting the Senate from conducting any business is well settled. In this respect, the determination on the question is the same regardless of the position advanced by the County Assembly. Whether or not there was, in fact, a court order in this matter does not matter. Nothing turns on it. The result is the same, which is that Parliament cannot be prevented from the discharge of its constitutional functions by dint of an order of the court.
Meanwhile, Chief Justice Martha Koome has stepped in, constituting a 3-judge bench to hear and determine the constitutionality of Gachagua's impeachment. The bench, consisting of Justices Eric Ogola, Anthony Mrima, and Fred Mugambi, will decide whether Gachagua's fate is sealed or if there is still hope for his political survival. As it stands now, Gachagua faces limited options. He could choose to face the Senate, just as he did in Parliament, where 281 MPs showed him the door. In the Senate, his survival depends on the strength of the evidence presented by his accusers and the defense he puts up. One piece of damning evidence could be enough to end his career, reducing him to an ordinary citizen like the rest of us. But if the Senate rules against him, Gachagua could still turn to the courts for mercy, a process that would drag through the High Court, Court of Appeal, and potentially the Supreme Court. If the courts decide to side with him, Gachagua might dodge the political guillotine. However, if the court upholds the Senate's decision, his political career will be buried. He will be permanently disqualified from holding any public office, including even the most modest position like MCA as per the Constitution. Now, Gachagua's last remaining option, though he has vehemently refused it, is resignation. Stepping down voluntarily could allow him to salvage his political future, especially since he has been rumored to have presidential ambitions.
When I called this press conference, there was a lot of speculation that Rigathi Gachagua wants to resign. This is a man elected by 7.2 million Kenyans. How dare you suggest to him that he can do so without public participation? I have no intention whatsoever to resign from this job. I'll fight to the end. I have tremendous respect for our judiciary and the professional judges of the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. And in the professional manner, they have handled serious issues affecting Kenya. The impeachment of a deputy president elected by 7.2 million Kenyans is not a small matter that can hastily be decided by a few members of parliament and senators and wish it away. I'll submit myself to independent institutions to get justice. And I'm sure, I have no doubt in my mind that I'll get justice. And this impeachment will be thrown out. And I'll carry out my duties as deputy president. That is why anybody sending feelers to me to resign is a joker. And I found a few of people using my friends to come and sweet talk to me. Please, my friends, I don't want to become enemies with you. When you are given such silly messages, don't bring them to me. I have no intention. I cannot resign. I did not give myself this job. I was given by the people of Kenya. I've done nothing wrong against the people of Kenya whatsoever. I've worked hard. I've been very loyal to my boss, President William Ruto. I have worked hard every day. And I will not be distracted. I think there's one issue I've forgotten, one ground.
But for now, Gachagua remains defiant and willing to give in to the pressure and holding on to the slimmest of hopes that he might survive this political storm. But the big question is, do you think he will survive?